Coming up on Global Business, boosting travel between China and Singapore. The two sides ink a visa exemption agreement that allows citizens of both countries to enter and stay in each other's country for up to 30 days without a visa. China's top financial regulator reaffirms the country's commitment to support the property sector, adding that policymakers will also bolster financing to spur manufacturing and innovation. And we're moments away from a rate decision by the European Central Bank, where the ECB is widely expected to hold its benchmark rate steady for a third straight meeting. And welcome everyone to Global Business here on CGTN. I'm Michael Wong in Beijing. Well, Chinese President Xi Jinping has called for stronger ties between China and France. He was speaking in a video message to a reception for the 60th anniversary of diplomatic relations. Xi Jinping said China's ties with France have been at the top of its relations with Western countries. He said they have benefited the people of both countries and contributed to world peace, stability, and development. President Xi said China and France should promote multipolarity and economic globalization and respond to global challenges. The Chinese president said the two sides should use the China-France Year of Culture and Tourism and the Paris Olympics to expand people-to-people and cultural exchanges. And he said they should tap into the potential in emerging areas such as green industries and clean energy. French President Emmanuel Macron also delivered a message saying France is ready to work with China to help address global challenges. He agreed they should take the Year of Culture and Tourism as an opportunity to advance exchanges, especially between the youth. An opening ceremony of the Year of Culture and Tourism is scheduled to take place at the Palace of Versailles in France. And China and Singapore have signed a visa exemption agreement. This agreement allows citizens of both countries to enter and stay in each respective country for up to 30 days without the need for a visa. It's set to go into effect on the 9th of February. That's the eve of the Lunar New Year, which usually witnesses a massive travel peak. Now, with this agreement, China has expanded its comprehensive visa exemption program to include 22 countries, including Singapore, the Maldives, and Kazakhstan. Well, China on Thursday urged the European Union not to take anti-globalization steps. Foreign Ministry spokesperson Wang Wenbin said the bloc's economic image in international trade is, quote, at stake. The comment came after the EU announced new measures to protect sensitive technology from falling into the hands of what it considers as geopolitical rivals. Take a listen.
We have noted relevant reports that in recent years, the international community has shown quite some concerns over the EU's moves in protectionist unilateralism in the economic and trade spheres. Relevant moves will only intensify these concerns. We hope that the EU will respect free trade, free competition, and open cooperation, which are the fundamental norms of the market economy, follow the rules of the WTO, and avoid taking anti-globalization and pan-securitizing measures.
Well, the return of international travel after the COVID-19 pandemic saw direct flights resume between China and the United Kingdom last year. And the strong demand for leisure travel has Britain's national carrier eyeing opportunities to expand in China's aviation market. However, it first needs more cabin staff who actually speak Mandarin. Our Xu Xinchen has more.
Wu Mengyue was a flight attendant until COVID-19 interrupted the aviation industry. She hopes to return with an interview in downtown Beijing, the first step in finding her way back to the skies.
I was a flight attendant in Hainan Airlines for like 3 years, but after that I was working in TV commercials. My dream is always to become a cabin crew, but due to the pandemic and something, I have to quit or forced to leave from my cabin crew career, so I always want to come back.
Wu is one of the shortlisted candidates from some 2,000 applicants for new China-based cabin crew roles with British Airways. The British flag carrier aims to double the number of cabin crew from China in 2024.
We are the ambassador to connect UK and China. And we introduce our Chinese culture, our changing in recent years, our development to UK people, and also we share what we know about UK to our Chinese passengers. So that's very rewarding job and which is very meaningful.
With that chance, you can travel around the world. You can collect some information or something you haven't taught by school. I think that is valuable. That is, you can't just put a price on it.
A survey by British Airways shows 44% of Chinese travelers intended to travel more in 2024, with 60% of respondents putting Europe on top of their destination lists. According to Visit Britain, airline seat capacity between China and the UK in 2023 surpassed 2019 levels with sharp rebounds after COVID-19, and the market is expecting more flights between the two countries, inspiring companies to recruit more Chinese crew members. Data from the official British tourism site also suggests while flights are increasing, seats are also filling up fast.
Industry data is showing that visits by Chinese customers to the UK will be back at pre-pandemic levels sometime around the end of 2025. And we really want to be part of that. It's really important. We're starting to see the return of business travel. Leisure demand has been really strong, particularly over the last summer season.
Mr. Lamy flew all the way from the airline's headquarters in London to Beijing to interview some of the shortlisted candidates.
It's actually been a fantastic experience to be here in China recruiting. Services to Greater China are really important for us. There's been a long history. We've been operating to Beijing since 1980. We're about to 45 years nearly of operating services into China. In Shanghai, we've been operating since 1995, and we remain committed.
More visits also mean more purchases. Spending by Chinese visitors in the UK is also forecast to return to pre-pandemic levels by next year. Xu Xinchen, CGTN, Beijing.
Well, China State Council Information Office has briefed the media on the country's financial work and economic development. The Vice Minister of the National Financial Regulatory Administration, Xiao Yuanqi, said China will accurately support the reasonable financing needs of real estate projects and optimize the down payment ratio and loan interest rate policies. He also urged lenders and local governments to better support people in buying their first homes or improving their housing situation. He added China will further shore up support to facilitate financing in sectors such as manufacturing, strategic emerging industries, and science and innovation industries. Well, Chinese President Xi Jinping recently addressed the opening of a study session on boosting the high-quality development of the financial sector. He emphasized the importance of following a unique path of financial development tailored to Chinese characteristics. Xi underlined the necessity of actively addressing and mitigating financial risks, particularly systemic risks. Additionally, he emphasized the importance of advancing high-level financial opening up through institutional reforms, including the implementation of the pre-establishment national treatment plus negative list management system. Furthermore, President Xi stressed the significance of combining the rule of law with the rule of virtue to enhance the country's financial strength. Well, this week, Hong Kong hosts the 17th Asian Financial Forum, which is the first large-scale international financial and business event in the region this year. Our Ann Chung has more.
Themed Multilateral Cooperation for a Shared Tomorrow, the two-day event brings together over 3,000 global financial experts and business leaders.
In a world of escalating deglobalization and decoupling, international cooperation has never been more essential. International market fragmentation can only lead to rising costs, reduced market liquidity, and ultimately a diminished and destabilized financial system.
After Li's opening remarks, special remarks were delivered by Li Yunze, Minister of the National Financial Regulatory Administration. He said the mainland will continue to strengthen bilateral regulatory cooperation with Hong Kong so as to reinforce and enhance Hong Kong's status as an international financial center. That includes deepening the connectivity between both financial markets and supporting Hong Kong in consolidating its role as a global offshore RMB hub. This comes as the People's Bank of China also announced 6 measures to deepen the financial cooperation between Hong Kong and the mainland. That includes introducing facilitative payment arrangements for Hong Kong residents to buy property in mainland cities of the Greater Bay Area and expanding Hong Kong Monetary Authority's RMB liquidity facility to incorporate more RMB bonds. Hong Kong has been on a drive to deepen ties with the Middle East, and at the event, Hong Kong and Saudi Arabia signed an MOU to strengthen financial collaboration with each other. Meanwhile, sustainable development was a common topic brought up by many, including keynote speaker Jeffrey Sachs, who said investing in green and digital infrastructure was one way to achieve that. He added that requires regional integration and new solutions to such large-scale financing.
It's estimated that the climate challenge alone is between $5 and $10 trillion a year of investments needed worldwide. And Hong Kong can play a very important role in designing instruments for SDG bonds, for green bonds, for decarbonized energy system investments. And the whole world needs these investments. With creative solutions, Hong Kong will be able to deliver low-cost, long-term capital to those who need it.
He also urged people to plan for multi-currency financing, including RMB financing, because he believes that the dollar-based system will diminish within 10 years. Speeches and panel discussions aren't the only things on offer at the forum.
Behind me is the AFF deal-making section. It's a platform that allows people to engage in meetings, connecting them to funds and investment projects from all around the world. Industries like fintech, environment, energy, and clean technology are a key focus.
Nearby, there are also 4 exhibition zones, including the InnoVenture Salon, which supports startup development. Ann Cheng, CGTN, Hong Kong.
And 2 of China's leading technology companies have completed commercial testing of the next generation wireless network technology known as 5.5G or 5G Advanced right here in Beijing. Some experts believe the technology designed to deliver higher network speeds for mobile users could go live as early as this year. Our Liu Jiaxin reports.
Have you gotten used to the 5G wireless network? Well, a new generation network designed to provide 10 times the bandwidth for mobile users has been tested in Beijing. The telecommunications company China Unicom joined hands with Huawei to test large-scale 5.5G coverage in 3 locations: Beijing Financial Street, Beijing Long-Distance Telephone Building, and the Walkers Stadium, a central sports venue. This first-of-its-kind technology is expected to serve as a reference for future 5.5G networks and applications across China if it passes the field testing stage. Thursday's trial run showed the real-time network had a peak downlink speed of up to 10 gigabytes per second and over 5 gigabytes per second continuous experience for users.
组网验证工作是我们正式商用之前的最后一个重要准备工作。
Network testing is the last important preparation before 5.5G is officially commercialized. As long as the state gives an order, we can complete large-scale network deployment in a very short period of time.
The network must not only meet our people's communication needs, but also constantly meet the digital needs of the entire industry. Overseas countries have already accelerated their efforts on 5.5G. For example, Finland, Germany, the UAE, Saudi Arabia are all striving to increase network speeds.
A faster and more efficient mobile network would support key sectors including industrial manufacturing and smart transport, as well as technologies like the Internet of Things and glasses-free 3D applications. Zhu Xiaodan believes that once network testing is completed, international efforts could see 5.5G technology achieve large-scale commercial coverage this year. Liu Jiaxin, CGTN, Beijing.
And up next here on Global Business. We are just moments away from a rate decision by the European Central Bank, where the ECB is widely expected to hold its benchmark rates steady for a 3rd straight meeting.
The world economy as we know it is about to change. Global Business reports highlight emerging markets, developing countries, and dynamic sectors worldwide. We feature top analysts and newsmakers to provide perspectives on every facet of business. From an on-the-ground perspective, we provide you with balanced and objective assessments. Fast, sharp, and insightful. Global Business. Only on CGTN.
In headlines we're tracking across Europe at this hour, Norway's benchmark interest rate remained unchanged at 4.5% on Thursday. Analysts predict the country's key lending rate will likely stay at the current level for the foreseeable future. German business sentiment unexpectedly declined for the second consecutive month in January. According to a German financial institute, the Business Climate Index dropped to 85.2 from December's revised reading of 86.3. And UK vehicle production exceeded 1 million units in 2023, marking a 17% increase compared to the previous year. That's as reported by the Society of Motor Manufacturers and Traders, or the SMMT. Now, the chief executive of that organization attributed this growth to overcoming supply chain challenges, introducing new models, and benefiting from some £23.7 billion of investments. Additionally, the latest outlook predicts a further 3% increase in UK car and light van production in 2024, reaching an estimated 1.04 million units. And Hungary is facing a growing housing crisis with substandard apartments, overcrowding, and long waiting lists for social accommodation. Local authorities are urging ministers to tackle the problem, which they say is getting worse. Our correspondent Pablo Gutierrez has more.
For years, Aniko Balázs and her 3 children lived in a storage cellar. She says she had no choice due to Hungary's high rental prices and a lack of apartments for families in need.
We rented the cellar for 12 years. Finally, after many years on a municipal wait list, I was eligible to rent this 24-square-meter apartment.
Around 3 million Hungarians are struggling with housing costs. According to recent data, that's around a third of the population. Affordable rental homes are often in poor condition, including many that are in converted buildings not originally designed to house people.
There really should be actually national level housing policy system to address the problem, and that's the key.
Vera Kovac is president of the Street to Homes Association, which helps families secure cheap housing in Budapest.
There used to be a wide range of stock owned or handled by local municipalities, but then when the political system changed, most of these were privatized, and only the stock in the worst condition remained in the public hands.
Another issue pricing out many Hungarians is skyrocketing property costs, which have increased 180% over the last 10 years. Last year, the average price per square meter here in Budapest was $4,600, making it difficult for families to buy flats. But that hasn't slowed down the sales market, as almost half of all buyers are foreign investors buying up properties. The Hungarian government has left the management of public housing to local authorities, but critics say that's made the problem worse. Last year, NGOs in Hungary submitted a proposal to the government. They called for ministerial oversight, targeted housing initiatives, state renovation programs, and a recognition that housing is a fundamental right. So far, they've had no response. Pablo Gutierrez, CGTN, Budapest.
Following on from its success in the United States, a Chinese online shopping platform Temu is now proving a big hit with shoppers in the United Kingdom. After a rapid rise driven by social media influencers, the UK is now Temu's 3rd biggest market behind the United States and Mexico. Our correspondent Siobhan McCall has more.
I feel so rich. I feel like a billionaire.
Temu was downloaded 19 million times in the United Kingdom in 2023 and is currently ranking as the country's most popular iPhone app. It only launched in Britain last April. Its rapid rise heavily driven by social media influencers and their so-called Temu hauls.
Welcome back to a brand new Temu haul video.
My first Temu order has arrived.
I have clothing, makeup, home stuff.
Temu's tagline is shop like a billionaire, but don't expect to find expensive luxury items. It's all about low prices and huge discounts of up to 90%.
Inspired by these influences, I did my own very first Temu haul. And here are some of the items that I bought. A hot water bottle, some gloves for winter, some makeup brushes. And it's quite surprising to see just how much cheaper Temu is than some of its rivals. This Temu haul cost me around $13 US. A similar 6 items on Amazon cost closer to $70 US. So that's a saving of around $55 in just one shop. And during a cost of living crisis in the UK, it's proving very appealing to shoppers.
There were recent accusations in the UK and the US that the firm uses forced labour, something Temu vehemently denies.
Get 3 items you like for free.
While there are also unverified reports that Temu is losing up to $30 per order as it looks to build its customer base. Critics have drawn comparisons with Wish.com, an American e-commerce site also famous for its low prices. Wish was valued at $22 billion in 2020. 2 years later, that was down to $450 million amid scaled-back advertising and growing competition. But market intelligence experts say Temu is doing well in the UK because it offers more than just low prices.
It's come to market with a very different strategy. It's using things like the roulette wheel in terms of discounts, a bit more fun and light-hearted than we've seen from many other brands entering the UK market, and that's helped it to stand out.
Temu became the second most visited commerce site in the world last month in terms of unique visitors, with 467 million, joint with AliExpress. While total e-commerce trade of Chinese companies outside China was estimated to be worth around $230 billion in the first 3 quarters of 2023, 14% up on the previous year.
What do you think is making Chinese companies stand out when it comes to cross-border e-commerce?
I think from a UK perspective, it's because they are doing something a little different. Obviously, the pricing works. You know, the likes of Shein, likes of Temu tend to be the lowest price in the market, so that does grab attention. But they're also very good at engaging shoppers, not just now, but longer term.
So what next for Temu? 2024 will be its first full year in the UK. And with Google searches up almost 3,000% in 2023, some analysts predict another impressive 12 months. Siobhan McCall, CGTN, London.
Right, to monetary policy in the Eurozone, where the European Central Bank just released its latest interest rate decision, keeping its key interest rate unchanged. Our Trent Murray is in Berlin with more. Trent, so no surprises here. Of course, the ECB keeping its policy rate steady. Bring us up to speed in terms of the details, and what is the European Central Bank saying about the main challenges currently facing the European economy?
Yeah, that's right, Michael. Any investors or even households here in Europe that may have been hoping for a rate cut will have been left disappointed by this news. Fresh off the press in the past 10 minutes or so, the ECB in Frankfurt confirming it will keep interest rates on hold, the key deposit rate staying at 4%. Let me read a little bit of why they say they are doing that. They say the incoming information has broadly confirmed our previous assessment of the medium-term inflation outlook in Europe. Aside from an energy-related upward base effect on headline inflation, the declining trend in underlying inflation has continued, and our past interest rate increases are keeping financial conditions tight. We know that the markets had expected Christine Lagarde and the ECB to keep interest rates on hold. Of course, what we have seen in the past really 18 months or so is these rapid increases by the ECB, very similar to the Fed in the US, trying to tame red-hot inflation across the Eurozone. At its peak, that inflation was 10.6% in October of 2022, but it is right down now to 2.9%. Just above the ECB's target of 2%. So given the fact that there is now not a lot of space there between the target and the actual Many investors here had hoped we could have got a cut today, but alas, it was not to be. We will hear from Christine Lagarde in the next hour or so, where she will hold a press conference. Undoubtedly, there will be many questions around why they came to that decision and whether some more cuts maybe could be in store come spring and come summer. But we know the broader economic outlook is very challenging right now here in Europe. The Eurozone is likely in a recession in the last quarter of last year. That's according to the initial flash estimate. And we are also seeing some downward trend effects happening from lower commodity prices and also this unpredictability now of what's happening in the Middle East. That Red Sea shipping route, absolutely vital for Europe to trade with China and Asia, given it's the main sort of water highway between Europe and that part of the world. And that disruption is having a real knock-on effect, especially here in Germany, which is a real manufacturing nation. More broadly, I think we have to look at the political situation as well. We've seen major protests here, both in Germany and France in recent weeks from farmers. They are very upset at having some of their diesel fuel subsidies cut. And of course, also here in Germany, a big train network strike for lasting almost a week. That is also halting freight traffic. Many analysts here are warning that will have a big impact on Germany, which of course is the Eurozone's biggest economy. Some estimates suggest that strike alone could cost the German economy $1 billion.
Yeah, and some of the economic headwinds you mentioned, Trent, has got market participants forecasting that we may see a rate cut from the ECB in April, but then European Central Bank pushing back on that as well, perhaps in June. Anyway, of course, we'll keep our eyes on that. Trent, many thanks for that update. Trent Murray for us in Berlin on the ECB's decision to keep interest rates steady at its latest policy meeting. And with that, we're going to wrap up this edition of Global Business here on CGTN. I'm Michael Wong here in Beijing. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you again next time.